Very good evening friends, and in this video we will learn about the Vue form. So here in the Vue folder I am going to create one form. So you see that I have created a contact as views, but I have no content in it. So first I create a view in the Vue folder called the contact.view. Now you see that in this contact folder we will use the snippet VBase and CSS, and this is our normal contact form. So here we need to have one form with some input elements so that we can get some data from the user. So this is my form, and I want to add basic features like the name, mobile, email, password, and I also would like to discuss that how we can demonstrate how we can use the other input types like the radio and the checkbox buttons. So this is my division, and inside this division I'll create one label and one input. So this is a normal common trend, so we are focusing more on the Vue, so not on the CSS and HTML. So this is my label, so label for name, and here I will write name. Then I'll take one input box, or you can say the input with the type as text. So input type is text, and name or ID will be better. We can write it as name so that we can identify it as the name. And right now I'm not binding, I'm not using V model. First let me have this HTML part completed, then I'll go for this. So I'll copy this division tag and paste few times, and then I change the name this to mobile, and this name, so this is also mobile, and the type will become phone. So and this ID also better I name it as mobile. So the name, mobile, these two things we have got. Now I paste it one more time for email. So here the label will be email, and the type we can type as normal email, and the ID will also be email. And email. Then we need one for password. So the name, the label should be password, and type will also be password. So this is password, and the ID should be password. So password. And then I need one button, so I copy and let me remove this label, and I change this input as button type. So button, and text on the button should be submit or input your data, anything like that you can write. So better is common, everyone types these days submit. So this is submit. Now so this is ready. So now let me check whether it is displaying in my web browser or not. So first I have to go to home.view, and inside this home view I have to use this contacts, or better I here first let me check in the app.view, and there you see that the my router link is there to the contact us and /contact. So here in the index.js I copy this and rename it to contact. So just paste and rename it. So it's /contact, and the name of this view will be contact, which we have just created, contact.view. So contact, and this component name also should be contact. So here we have completed this. Now I need to go to this. Okay, there is no error, but this red tag sometimes, I have to import this. Let me copy paste. So this, change this as contact, and since you know that all these Vue files like the home, Java and the contact, all they are in the Vue folder, so that's why they have same path. So just contact. Now let me refresh my browser, and it's not seen. Okay, perhaps I need to go to, okay, so little delayed. So this is name, mobile, email, but it's not looking good. So let me go to contact.vue and provide little styling to it, so that at least it look a little better. So let me provide the form width as some 30%, 40% of the screen, and height we can make it as auto depending on number of elements in it. And then it is here, it has gone to the left. So let me shift it, provide some margin to this. So I provide some margin from top, that is 100 pixel from top. Okay, in the same way, 100 pixel from top, or you can say 50 pixel from the top, and then 0 pixel from the right, 0 pixel from the bottom, and 300 pixel from left. So this will help to shift it towards right. Yes, here at this position, now it is better. Let me provide some margin to the elements. So all these are input types, so we can directly, you see that they are input type, text, input type. So here, and all these input types are in a particular division. So let me provide the name to this division class as div elements or div element. So since this div element is there in each, so here I provide some margin to this element, because if the division is provided some margin, every element automatically will have some margin. So margin from all side, let's try with 4 pixel. 4 pixel is little small, but it's fine. And 4 top, 4 0 right, 5 bottom, and here it is. Now little space is created, but not much. So make 10 pixel from top, 10 from bottom, and little from this. Okay, little margin is coming. So if I refresh it, just little change. Yes, okay, fine. I think we are done with, we can't waste our time with beautifying this element. So this is right 30 and bottom 20. Now let's see how this is looking. It is just I'm trying hit and trial method, and some padding I provide 10 pixel or 40 pixel. 40 is much. 4 pixel, fine. 4 pixel of padding. Okay, now it's in the first, I think, yeah, in the first one, but since we have to, because our division is styled only in the one, now I'm just creating a data is fine. So inside this script I create a data, and there, since these are all the form elements, so I call it as my data colon, and inside the curly bracket 1 for name, so one empty string for name empty string, and then mobile empty string, and then you can have email empty string, and then password empty string. Okay, now we will use V model to make two-way binding. So here inside this input we write v model, and since it is named, so this can be accessed using mydata.name. So equals, and then in the double quote we'll write mydata.name, because the form data, the data name we have provided it name as mydata. So mydata.name. Okay, let me copy this part. So all the elements are like that: my data.email, my data.mobile, my data.password. So let me copy and put in all respective input types, so that whatever user types, at least we will be in position to fetch it. So this is my data.mobile, and then down here my data.email, and then here also is my data.password. So change it to password. Okay, now to check whether the whatever you are inputting, that is reflecting in the database or not. So here we provide a division, and there we will stringify the JSON object, and this is JSON.stringify. So this will convert into the string, and then we pass the name of the data, that is my data null and then 2. This is the normal syntax, and then whatever we will be inputting in those input boxes, that will be reflected in this division. So I think we are done here, because we are not submitting, we are just checking whether, so this division which I just created does not have the closing tag, so that's why this error is showing. So now I go back, and this above the form, this where the JSON.stringify, this closing division tag should be provided, I've given. Then the paragraph is also not closed yet, so this one, so inside this I see closing paragraph. Now I think there should not be any error. Okay, so now here I refresh. Yes, now you see that above there is a string. If I type anything into those boxes, then that is reflected into this. It means it is working properly. So if you write anything, suppose if I write Tom Hanks, Tom Cruise is fine. Then in the name you see it is showing. Now if I just type any number, any random mobile number, you see it is just reflecting there. Means this is called two-way binding. Whatever I type here, that is seen there. So it is dynamically changing, and this form data will be collected, and later we can send it to some other server. So right now we don't have server, so we are just learning how to fetch data from those boxes. Now let me add some other type of HTML input elements. Let me copy this part, and then we can use the radio button. So this one I can, for radio, I think, like suppose if the user is new, and then I make it a checkbox. And so radio button checkboxes, they work more or less like same. So here I check the input type as checkbox, and then this ID should also be new user, and my data dot I give it a thing called new user. Okay, so closing, and now I have yet to add this new user into my data. So there I go into my string, like here script method, and then below the password I type end user. Right now I'm keeping it empty, and comma. So whatever you click, now let me refresh it. There you see that the radio checkbox with the new user tag. So if you click, then it is saying it is true or false. So you see false, because if it is not checked, it is false. Okay, so this is working. Now here inside the form, suppose if I use a VShow method, which is VShow, and then if you click on that new user, then only to see this is my data dot end user. So end user is storing the values like true and false. It is kind of boolean variable. So if you click, if it is true, okay, so here I made it by default it is false. Now you see end user is false, and that's why it is not showing. So I need to make it by default true, so that at least you can see the form. So here, instead of using blank string, I use true. So when it is displayed, at least when the end user will be true, then it will be displaying. Now when I click on this, it will become false, and again I have to refresh it to see that. Okay, so when end user is true, then the form is seen, otherwise it is not seen. Now I think that if I place it outside the form, like somewhere else, like not in the form body but somewhere else, and then let me copy with a cut paste. So cut from here, so this checkbox I'm pasting outside the form, so at least the checkbox will be present and the only form element. Now you see the checkbox is there, but the form is only when you click true, then it is seen, otherwise it is false. And in the stringify also, you see the end user is false. Whenever it is false, it is not seen. So this is how this normal behavior. Now okay, let me create one more option, like the option tag. So you might have seen that this is another type of HTML form element where you can write something, like you have to select some elements from a drop down list called as select. So this is select, and down in the options you can write name of the fruits, name of programming languages. I better use name of programming languages, and this is closing option tag, and there should be a value for those options, and that will be displayed. So how to do this in Vue? So let me paste this option few times. Okay, so this is done. Now I need to get rid of this part. Okay, so we have select, and inside the select we have 4 options. So here I provide it ID as P language, means programming language, short form for programming language called P language. V-model, and this we will call it as my data dot P language, or the programming language P language. And inside this data we have to add one more variable named as P language. Right now one empty string is fine. Double quote also you can keep, but I am keeping single quote because all other are single quotes. So now I go back, and then in the options I need to provide value. So whatever value will be selected, that will be displayed in the P language. So here I write Pascal. This is very old programming language, Pascal, COBOL, Fortran. So I'll take few from there. So Pascal, COBOL, and this is Java. There I can take C or C++, C sharp, C++ is fine. And now here I provide the same thing, Pascal, but we should have value. So here I write COBOL also, I can write. Okay, there it is Java, and here it is C++. So it's saying that parsing error, select error. Okay, so here should be value equal to Pascal. So this value equal to COBOL and value equal to Java and value equal to C++. Okay, there also the value equal to C++. Okay, so now I think we are done here. Oh, so select element is missing tag. So select, I forgot to close the select tag. So here I close this select tag. Now let me put them in the right order, and yes, so let me refresh my browser and click here so that you see the option Pascal COBOL. Yes, so there you see P language is COBOL. So C++, it is C++.